Hey there. I'm gonna wait till like 6:02, 03, and then we're gonna get started. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. I'm ready to put up the Christmas tree. We took down all the Halloween decorations, like Christmas time. All right, okay, I'm gonna share my screen and we'll get started. I may have to pause from time to time to let folks in, but that's not a problem. All right, great. So I'm excited about tonight. I've talked about some of these things that I do, but this is where I'm at right now in like real life. So we're gonna be moving into a new space in January, and it's twice the space. So I am on this like mad dash to get folks in the door. Keep my wait list warm, and because when I first opened 6 years ago, I had like 80 parents on a wait list. And then we opened, I had one kid show up. So I don't do the wait list anymore, where it's just join the wait list. Like I'm actively doing things. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff tonight. And remember, if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat and then I'll take some breaks. And I would love to hear like any other interesting things that you guys are doing. So the two big things that I try to tackle when it comes to enrolling parents is to take a look at some of the challenges parents face just in general, and then also how that impacts the enrollment process. And what I mean by that is if we have parents who don't have vehicles, having to go and pick up shot records and drop paperwork off and all of those different things, coming up for a tour, um, coming up for an interview. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have all of these things, but these are just some challenges that parents may face. And they could be parents that need your services, but because of a variety of boundaries, it's keeping them from getting to you and paying families. So the first thing that I wanted to chat about is what I started doing was simplifying some of the enrollment. So we're all Maryland daycare providers, I believe, and the kids need to have a contract, right? They need an emergency form, they need a health inventory 1 and 2, we need shot records. I feel like I might be missing something, emergency form, if I didn't say that already. So we already know that there are certain forms that we need for parents to be enrolled. And so what we started doing was very just simplifying some other pieces of enrollment. Like we offer virtual where you can meet with me virtually. You can do any type of interviews right on Zoom or Hangouts or Google Meet. Because we have parents that are just like, I just can't, I can't keep coming up, leaving work or whatever to come for tours. And it's totally understandable, especially if you have families who like don't have vehicles or have a bunch of, multiple children and trying to juggle all that. We know how that is. So that's where, going back to challenges parents face is something that I really try to work into my enrollment and into my marketing. Now outsider looking in, Amy, why do you care if they have a vehicle? What does it matter? Like if they really need daycare, they're gonna get the paperwork, they're gonna make it happen. And there are some that can, but I noticed as a business owner, that's what I was experiencing, where I followed up with a family and they said, oh, well, I haven't had a chance to go to the doctors yet. Um, or I need to get a new birth certificate for applying for childcare vouchers, whatever it ended up being. I wanted to just try to see if I could help with some of those concerns. And if there's any other concerns that like you're hearing from folks, maybe they call about services, maybe they get onto your wait list, maybe they shoot you an email, and then they kind of just go, radio silent on you. And what are some things that are keeping them from using your service if they need you? And the other thing we started doing was digitalizing some of the paperwork. And what I mean by that is these are some platforms that we pay for. You might be able to find a cheaper way or even a free way to do some of this when it comes to getting things signed. So we use something called DocuSign. It's not cheap. I encourage you to do your homework and try to find a free or a much less expensive way to do this. But on DocuSign, we put our parent contract, we put our emergency form, we put the health inventory one. on there so that parents can fill them out right from their phone. When we first opened, I'd have like packets ready, and I was literally driving them all around Wacomico County, dropping them off to parents. Um, and because I didn't want to have to inconvenience them with coming up to the center to get these things, but I was just trying to figure out ways that I could alleviate some of their obstacles when it came to enrollment. But DocuSign seemed to be the best one for us. So when we get a parent that is interested, we go ahead and get some of this information, and we can start getting some of these papers signed just digitally, and then we can go ahead and start their file. The other piece is we use something called Humble Fax. Humble Fax is a like an online fax machine. I don't have an actual fax machine. So it gives us a number and we can send and receive unlimited faxes. I think this one's maybe like $20. Like this one's not anywhere near as expensive as DocuSign. Um, and it's been a while since I've been using these platforms. So I would encourage you, they're always coming out with new things and they're always coming out with new features. So I would encourage you to just look and find, you maybe to find one that's all in one where it has a fax and it also has these DocuSign features. If you find one, let me know because I'm all about saving money when it comes to these things. But so what we'll do is we send out those 3 papers to the parents. They'll fill them out. And then the next part is we say, hey, we can fax the health inventory 1 over to your pediatrician if you think that would be helpful. And then the pediatrician can just fax it back. So that's what we do. Parents fill out part 1. We attach part 2 with just a little cover letter on Humble Fax, and we fax it off to the pediatrician. And then I always ask parents to what's the word? Call the pediatrician and just, verify and confirm that they're giving them permission to send the things back. When we first started doing this, I was getting some pushback from the doctor's offices because they wanted like written permission that it was okay and all of that. But more recently, just mom calling and asking and saying something seems to be streamlining things. Okay. And if anybody has any other things that they use, feel free to share with the group.
Yes, Amy, I wanted to say that I just really just put it on my website and would leave it where as though the parents can print it out on their own and
Mhm.
print
Yep.
everything out, get it signed, have you, and then bring it back in.
Yeah, that's if y'all didn't hear what she said, she just puts it on her website and you can just take the PDF that they have on the MSD website anyway, or you can just link it right to your website. If it was me, what I would do is I would download it and then upload it into my Google Drive so I can make my own link. Because sometimes if you link it to the state website, if they update a file or they update a link, then the link's broken, if that makes sense. So you might want to just have a direct link to the PDF in your onto your website. And the other thing about that is
Amy.
if we're going to take that responsibility to make sure that they get the proper paperwork, sometimes they update stuff. So like with the health inventory, I think they just like re-updated those. So just make sure we're checking our MSDE emails and our like the Tuesday tidbits or even stuff from your licensing specialist. Make sure that we're giving them the update stuff because we don't want to get it filled out and then have to ask them for something else. So yeah, but that's a great idea, just putting it right on your website.
Amy, I do too. I put everything on my website. It's just keeping up when the paperwork is changed. Then you
Mm-hmm.
have to reload, redo it again. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, just like anything that we can do, and when the parents come to your website, they're kind of already starting the enrollment process before they even really talk to you because they already know. And when I talk with parents, I'm like, it's the same for us. So even if you don't use me, you're still going to take that emergency form, that health inventory, and it's going to go to any daycare. So that helps as well. So the next part is this power of community visibility. And I've talked about this before, the importance of people knowing who you are and what you do. So I was asking one of my parents this week, and they've been with us, she's been with us for maybe 4 years. And I just asked her one day, I was like, how did you find us? Like, I remember her calling on the phone for enrollment information, but I said, how did you find out about us? So she's a single mom, working late. One Saturday morning at 7 a.m., her little 3-year-old decides to walk out the front door and go to the gas station to get cookies. She wakes up, Again, it's 7 a.m. She's in a panic, calls the police. They said, we already have him. He's at the gas station. So of course CPS gets brought in, which I mean, of course, I mean, understandably. And they helped her put alarms on the doors and all of that stuff. And, mom shared with her, she's like, hey, it's just me. I'm working these late nights. I'm working at McDonald's. I'm not getting off work till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was just sleepy. I'm sorry. It was 7 a.m. I mean, it wasn't like it was 3 in the afternoon and her kid had been like alone all day. It was early in the morning. But anyway, the CPS worker gave her our information, and I didn't even know CPS had our information. But she said, they're a nighttime daycare. Maybe they could be some assistance. So I don't think I've mentioned that before because I just in the last time we all met, she shared this information with me, and I was like, that's actually another really good um, organization that you'd want to have. You would want them to have your information. Now, the health department, CPS, child advocacy, stuff like that, like they're never not going to come out and um endorse you, but I do know that those folks appreciate having flyers, business cards, just things ready to go so that they can pass a resource right then and mom can take action in the next 24 hours to try to make her circumstance a little better. So and again, I talked about schools, the local elementary schools, they know who we are. And I have gotten emails and phone calls. Do you guys have space available? Is there a way that you could come in and talk with this parent? Um, uh, the Christian shelter in our area, he's reached out before I've gone and spoken with families there about the child care scholarship process. So just taking this time to kind of establish myself. I don't know everything. I don't claim to be, but I want to be that daycare lady. That's the one that's got the nighttime daycare. She helps with child care vouchers. I get messages all the time, emails, Facebook, whatever. People are like, hey, could you help me? Somebody sent me your way. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. We want to be visible. And even if they don't end up using us, it's okay because they'll remember us and then they'll tell other people about us. And ultimately that's what we want. And then building those partnerships with the service providers. So I've talked about this a bunch of times, but like we want all the therapists knowing who you are. We want the pediatric dentists and the pediatricians and all of those people to know who you are. So when they have a family that has something, they're not just Google searching. They actually have a name and a face and a phone number of somebody that they can call. And feel free to chat because some of you guys have been with me for a couple weeks now, and I'd love to hear any updates on any partnerships or any emails maybe you sent out to people to maybe try to build some relationships for our in the community.
Amy, as I was telling you before, I did reach out to the Head Start. Actually, not even reaching out, but just being in the midst. And I followed up on what you were telling us about, just going in and assisting with the daycare vouchers and things like that. And
Mhm.
she asked that she would do that and that she would set it up. So she in the process of looking at her calendar and seeing what day in November that I can come in and help parents, with the daycare vouchers and things like that. But I
Yeah.
was trying, and also they are the school, the Head Start. They're giving my information out to parents. I had 2 children enrolled last week, and this week I do an interview on tomorrow. But I've been with them for years. The whole time I got my training and everything there, but people change and things
Right.
like that. And so, but they love me and they love my personality, and so they're willing to give my information out. I wanted to find out how, because we're doing partnership now, but I wanted to find out like what do I need in writing from them, so when it comes to the big thing that you've been teaching us about how to get with the grants, like what do I need from them, because I want to already have that.
Yeah. So I use like AI to help draft something up, and it's called a mutual MAU, mutual agreement of understanding. It's something like that. If you can give me a second, I get the letters confused, but these are things that I have with some of the um so I'm trying to do 2 things at once.
Okay, because I've never had a partnership with them, but I've always networked with them.
Yes,
And
okay.
seemed like this year they're giving my information out more than they ever have.
Great. So it's called a memorandum of understanding. And essentially what I just kind of type into the chat GTP to help me type it up, or you may be able to find a template on Google, is you want to have one between you as the daycare provider and the school, and you or the whatever organization it is. And essentially you're just mapping out what it is you're going to do. So if you have what was the organization you were talking to?
So it was the Hearn Run Head Start, right? And
Okay.
what they do is
Okay.
they simply
Perfect.
client,
Yep.
they
So with
simply
the Head
client
Start. So
and
what
everybody.
Okay, so what you're going to do is kind of like a two-piece. So you're
Okay.
going to list the benefits that you're going to provide to Head Start. So are you going to refer families who maybe need that resource?
You mean when they graduate from daycare?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's what you can put in that agreement, that when you have families that are in the, and looking for that next stage, that you'll just be referring them. Now, that doesn't mean that they're automatically going to go there. That just means that,
Right, of course.
right. And then the other way around is that when they see clients that are appropriate for your services, they will make that referral. That's all that is. So just having the list of kind of the benefits of like what you're going to do, what they're going to do, and then y'all just agree to it. But it doesn't lock
Yeah,
anybody
but
in.
because that's what we're doing now. But I thought it would be a little bit more to it, but didn't want to stick my feet into it. Like, yeah, I need this, and this.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, you mentioned that to them, and they may want to wait and see the partnership between you guys for 6 months, a year. That's why some of this is the long game.
Okay.
So, because I know, like in my school district, they have like a list of like service providers. Some of them they have agreements with, and some of them they don't. I don't know why they do
Okay.
for one and some for not, but yeah, so that's just gonna kind of grow as y'all's partnership grows, of whether or not you guys even need something like
Okay.
that in
So
writing.
do you think I should wait? Do you think I should wait, or do you think I'm pushing it too much because it's only October?
I would wait. I would wait
Okay.
so you can show that you're good on your end of the bargain.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Oh
much.
yeah, of course, of course. And this is, I mean, like Head Start, of course, we all know about Head Start, but like this is good for you guys too, because there's been times where I've started kind of building a relationship with other service providers, and I wasn't feeling it. Like after a couple weeks, I'm like, I
Oh,
don't know if it's gonna work out. So I'm glad we didn't get anything in writing. It's kind of like an interview process. I want to make sure that this is something good for me as well. And
okay.
sometimes people give good first impressions, and then once you get into the thick of it, they're not reliable. They're not answering phone calls. They're not, it's taking a week to get an email back. Like I don't got time for that. So,
That
so right. Okay, so this is something that I have talked about at length, the helping parents with the childcare processes. So I know Ms. Demetri was just talking about she's going to be doing that. When I tell you this was my number one marketing thing that I did when we were opening, and I'm doing it now. So I'm gearing up to do it now. So I'm going to be doing a couple of events in the area. We're going to be doing a breakfast with Santa at one of my daycare mom's restaurants. And that's exactly, my husband's going to be dressed as Santa. And I'm going to be talking to parents about the Childcare Scholarship Program. And we're going to have breakfast with Santa. We got to go to the prison a couple weeks ago for a trunk or treat. And I was like, hey, we're here to see the guards. Like, when do they get off work? Because they work shift work. And so just chatting with the lady that ran it, she's the warden said we can come back and set up something in their admin building so that we can start getting some of the guards, giving them information about childcare, the childcare scholarship process, but ultimately getting them enrolled at Night Watch. So as these next couple of months are going on, when you see these events for like they're looking for vendors, consider setting up a table for your daycare, but you are sharing this free information. Make coloring sheets, give away candy canes, have a little place where the kids could come up, maybe make a candy cane reindeer. I mean, that's just some pipe cleaner, some googly eyes, and a candy cane. Just something to bring the kids over to the table. You can strike up a conversation with parents. You could have a little QR code where they could put in their email and things like that. I used to do where the parents would write it down and then I couldn't read their handwriting later. So that's why I switched over to a QR code, or even if you're using a tablet or your phone and just letting them put the information in so you can make sure that you can read their email and things later. The other piece that we did, so not only did we go in the community and we're teaching people about the process, I was making YouTube videos and this was back when everything was paper and pencil. So I was literally going through and doing tutorials on how to fill out the change of circumstance form and like what would you need for your employment verification and all of that. And some of that stuff is the same in the portal. I don't have access like I would, like I can't see the parent access, so I don't necessarily want to do those. But I definitely try to have frequently asked questions ready to go for parents when it comes to the portal. Another thing that we do is we let parents come in and use our computers. We print out the if they need electric bill. Right before I got on this call, she see right here, this little text message right here. It was from one of my daycare moms. She is living with a family member, but it's very much a roommate. Like she's paying rent and the cousin, they're not mixed together. Like she's not watching him. The bills are not mixed. It is a very much a roommate situation. And she needs a lease. And so we're working with her. She had a lease last. She was like, I'm reapplying. Where's my lease? Do you remember where we put it? So, and I've been with this mom for 4 years as well. I cannot find it. So we are going to create a template so that her and her cousin can sign a fresh lease for this year. So just a little extra step if that means that I can help mom get her vouchers, especially a mom that we've had for a couple of years that I know she's not gonna like waste my time and then leave. She actually, we've been watching her son for some time. I also try to budget, whether it's just $20 or $30 in case a parent needs some documentation. So we had one mom who I'm like, hey, how's it coming along? Can you get those pay stubs and things? And she said, well, I have everything. I just have to wait till I get paid so I can get her a new birth certificate. The birth certificate was like, I don't know, maybe $30. And I was like, I just threw $30 at it and was like, let's go ahead and get it done. So I try to have a little budget where if that is all that's keeping a parent from doing something or going ahead and enrolling in the process, if we can do it, that's fine. And this happened to be a parent who was already enrolled. She'd been coming for a month, and she was just now in the process of getting her vouchers. So that's why I felt comfortable, offering her that money. So if there's any other tips anybody has is anybody else doing anything to help their parents get through the process? If anybody has any tips, feel free to share in the chat or take yourself off mute. Okay, this part right here is I know nobody on this call does any of these things because you're here and you're actually trying to like help your families by not having to raise tuition. We're trying to like think outside the box. But when various content creators make their little skits that are daycare providers, or I see folks in Facebook groups, very judgmental when it comes to parents, especially if like the parent is off that day, they have already paid for that day, but they choose to send their child to daycare. We are in a time where moms are leaving their kids at home and going on cruises. Like they're checking out, like they're leaving their kids at home and they're neglecting them, being gone for days. And I'm not justifying any of that. But what I'm saying is if one of my moms can have a mental health day once a week or once a month, who am I to judge? Who am I to go blast her on social media talking about, well, I would want to be with my child all the time. And I can't imagine being home and not wanting to spend time with my kid. Like, lady, get real. Like, people need breaks. And especially when you're talking single moms, and especially when you got multiple kids. I know that we've got a couple of families that bring their child to us just one day a week, and that's all it is. They just are there, like they pay cash and they're just like, I just need a night off. And that is totally fine. That's what we're here for. And then supporting the parents' basic needs. Like we're really observant and with Night Watch. And if we're noticing that some of our parents are maybe, I don't know, they just don't kind of seem like themselves, like I'm gonna ask. Like maybe I'm overstepping, but I'm gonna ask, like, what do you need? Please ask. Like we've had some of our daycare moms, like I said, for 4, 5, 6 years. And we just always want to make sure that that line of communication is open, that we're not just there for a money grab. We're not just there to watch their kids, that we genuinely do care about them. We had, I think I shared the last time, we had a little boy who his dad was found in the Oconomowoc River at the beginning of October. And, I guess I can brag on my staff, like the way I just watched them just kind of like wrap that family up and like whatever she needs. Like we have been like, if you need groceries, you need help with electric, like whatever we can offer, whatever we can help with, like we're here for you. We love you. We love your kids. We have parents that, has struggled with like houselessness and just putting them in touch with mental health resources, whatever we can try to do to help those basic needs. Because if mom is, going off the rails if mom does not have a house, if we don't have groceries, if the electric's getting cut off, like we don't want any of that. So what can we do to just try to help with these basic needs? And if we have the money, great, but also having just a Rolodex of people that you can call that you've been meeting at these various places, whether it's a new job opportunity that they're going to make a little bit more money, whether it's classes that they can take. I'm always seeing like CMT classes or like, you know, just every now and then the hospital give out scholarships for different like jobs where maybe the pay is a little higher, like whatever we can try to do. Like we're constantly collecting resources to share with our families. And that doesn't cost anything. So yes, I'm very grateful that God has put us in a position that if you know, if somebody needs groceries, like we can buy them some groceries. But there was a time where that wasn't the thing. So we were going to food giveaways and we'd sit up a table and we'd tell people about childcare scholarships. And at the end of the food giveaway, if there was food left, we were loading in the truck and we were or in the back seat of my car and we were texting parents and say, hey, we're on our way. Purdue chickens and big baskets of, you know, potatoes and bread and like whatever, like whatever we could do. And like I said, that didn't cost anything other than time. So the next part in from a business standpoint, I've definitely had to like, you know, I just want to like do everything that I can for these parents. But sometimes, you know, it's really up to you and how you want to do your business. But well, for me at Night Watch, we are really about over delivering and going above and beyond by offering some just practical supports. So we are going to go to the grocery store anyway. We have Instacart come with groceries. If we have a mom who has just kind of mentioned that maybe her check was a little light or, you know, because most of them are paycheck to paycheck. So if their car breaks down, anything happens that messes up their budget, that could be the groceries for the month. So for us to be able to support when we can. The other part is we have a washer and dryer. So if we like one family we had that didn't have a place to live, mom would just drop his clothes off. Because I would tell her, drop his clothes off. We'll wash them while they're sleeping, and then he'll have clean clothes in the morning. Um, uh, if the coat's dirty, if the backpack's dirty, if the diaper bag's dirty, the car seats, like we're not taking pictures and shaming them on social media, which I have seen. And I know nobody here does that. But if we've got the time and the resources, we're just gonna clean up the backpack. We're gonna wash the coat. We're gonna, you know, vacuum out the car seat and get all the baby crumbs out and clean it. Like we're gonna try to do what we can to be part of the village. And that really, like the parents are appreciative of it. And I really think that is what keeps them staying with us. And then I've talked about this, engaging them with different, you know, food and resource services. So really being either having like a set number and a name of somebody they can call, or just really being aware of different agencies and the type of services that they offer. We build trust with these families and they're going to come to us. I think some of them come to me like an auntie or, you know, just like, oh no, I'm old enough to be some of their moms, the younger moms, but I appreciate that they come to me and, you know, with whatever they need advice or they need groceries or they need help with, you know, housing or things like that. And we just want to be there for them. All right. Retention beyond enrollment. So I'm always thinking long game. Now with my business, we can keep kids up until they're 12. I know many of you guys are daytime programs and the kids are going to graduate and, you know, go into school. But be thinking about that retention beyond enrollment for them just being champions for your center. I want when parents talk about us, them to light up and say, "Oh my gosh, we love Night Watch." Like they love our kids, you know, like that's what I want. I want parents to be excited when people ask about Night Watch or when, "Oh, do you know somebody can watch my kids?" "Oh, I know. You call Miss Amy over at Night Watch. You go call Mr. Ben. You go over there. They'll take good care of you." The word of mouth marketing, like I'd rather have that than go viral on social media. Like this is the stuff you want people to be champions for you and um you know, with us, we can keep kids, you know, for years and years and years. So to be able to have them continue to champion for us long after their child's been out of our care. And then I've talked about this before, and I'll just kind of tag in with the retention beyond enrollment. With us, again, because we keep our kids so long, you know, once they turn, you know, 13, 14, we can have them be volunteers. But we've actually had kids that have gone on to be employed with us that used to be our daycare kids that were 11 or 12 or so when we opened. When they turned 16, we went on and hired them. So being able to kind of keep them enrolled sort of somehow. All right. And we will do about 10 minutes of questions, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the night. And then my VIP folks, we can go ahead and start early. Did anybody have any questions for tonight? Comments?
Yeah, Amy, I had some so I had a situation today in the day where dad just walked out, and left mom for a month. So he came into the daycare when she was coming in today. And you know what they teach us at CPS? They said you can't keep the children away from the child, from both parents unless you have paperwork.
Right.
And so, he came in, she was like, Mr. Mitchell, please just lock the door. And by the time got from bending up, he was walking in. To make a long story short, it was a whole lot of drama with him, getting his child and everything. And he claimed that she'd been keeping him away from the child, since he walked out.
Mm-hmm.
Make a long story short, she's gonna take her children out of the daycare now so that he don't just walk in and bring that drama again. So I'm gonna lose two children. Do you have any suggestions about that?
Do you currently have a wait list?
Um, no, not really. I'm doing interviews. I
Mm-hmm.
do at least once a week.
Okay, great, great.
So,
Just two suggestions. Well, first, God may be what's the word, protecting you from a bunch of drama down the road. So this
I
could be
believe
a blessing. Not all money is good money, and I definitely have learned my lesson where, yeah, I've learned my lesson. I'll just say that. The second thing is, she may have made a quick decision because she doesn't want to cause that in your business.
yeah.
So maybe, give her a day or so and then maybe have a chat with her about the paperwork that she needs in place in order
Okay.
for him not to come. Give her those resources and just really put her mind at ease.
Yeah, I gave her the.
Yeah. And follow up with her again. Just let her know, like, hey, like, I'm still here for you. Like, clearly that, like, whatever the reason is, you know what I mean? You want a
Right.
good, peaceful resolution for the kids. I don't know the story. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know. And it's not our job. But
Yeah.
if you have that rapport with mom, I would go ahead and just really give her those resources and then
Okay.
just kind of leave it at that.
Oh,
Like I've had like it's not the same, but I've had a mom where she thought that her kid was going to be a little too much. It was some things, and she quickly snatched him out, and she just made a quick decision. And I was like, hey, like it's fine. Like we deal with behaviors all the time. She was embarrassed, and she didn't necessarily. She was worried that she. And anyway, once I just kind of eased her nerves and said, hey, look, like this is what we do. It's totally fine. Like your child coming in and having behavior problems, like nobody's judging you. Like no one thinks you're a bad mom. You have a child with severe autism. Like you're not a bad mom. He has autism. Like it's totally fine. And he's been back with us for 2 years. Like she actually works with us now. So
oh,
just being that steady person to just kind of say, hey, like I'm here if you need to chat. If this is really what you want and you don't want dad, whatever, like here are the steps, here are the resources. Even if you've given them to her already, I'm here with you. If you need me to print paperwork out for you, if you need me to, however she wants your services. So that might be another option. And she may come around and have the paperwork and, things could change in a week. You never know. She may call you tomorrow and say everything's been taken care of. Can they
right,
come Monday? So, but in the meantime,
right,
we want
right.
to keep moving on with that. We want to keep moving on with our wait list and use this as a lesson because
Yeah.
it won't be the first parent, first family that comes through that has these types of issues. So now you have the resource. I would tuck it away in your resource folder or binder or wherever you keep your resources so that the next
Okay.
time you even start to see the signs, mom and dad are fussing, like whatever, if you start seeing the signs, you already have a plan in place of how to best serve this family.
Oh, yes.
Anybody else?
Hello.
Hi.
I I applaud you for being so generous with your parents. I'm curious how that works with your staff. If you are able to also give them a helping hand in their time of need, because I'm finding that a lot of people are going through hard times. And as a business owner and as a human, I want to help because that's just how I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
But then as the business owner, there is business and I can't support, like I don't want to enable people, but I want to help people.
Yep.
Are how do you balance that with your staff?
So, all right. Good question. So I use the same approach as I do with my families. If I have it and we can help, then I help. If I can't, I can't. So I have had, but I want that communication open. I'd rather you come ask me and I say, hey, I can't help out this month, than you not ask me at all and you're struggling on your own. So I have lent money to staff before, like small amounts, maybe $100, like in advance on their check, and then I just take it out of their check when I do payroll. So I have done that before. Other things, we have dinner every night with the family, like with our staff. So feel free, like you're always welcome to eat with us. So that's all another thing that our staff doesn't have to worry about. And then those things that don't necessarily cost money, or my husband works with me. So anytime anybody has a problem with their car, especially my staff, it's like I send my husband. Like, you need your car jumped, your car's making a weird noise, I send my husband. And if it's something with that I can support with, whether it's because we have a couple of daycare moms that now work with us. So really offering a lot of the same resources. So if they are trying to buy a house, or let's say it can be the other end where they're looking to go on vacation and home ownership and things like that. So offering those, I guess, those non-monetary supports too. I'm not sure if that answered your question, but I try to help that the best that I can. I'm always looking for like those Tuesday tidbits. I haven't seen one in a while, but they were doing a lot of like surveys, and you could get like $50 or $100. Anytime we can put our name in the hat for something, I'm doing it. Trying to find free trainings for my staff to make sure that they don't have to pay any money now. Right now with the when we had the, I get credentialing and accreditation confused, the individual one where you got the certificate with the little bubbles on it. I would walk my staff through that, because that's money they can get. Like they would, I was getting $1,500 a year, I think, with my doctorate. But like my husband, he gets $600 a year, and he's just high school diploma, and then has his coursework for being a school teacher, or not school teacher, I'm sorry, daycare teacher. So I heard they're going to bring it back next year, and that's definitely going to be one of my priorities, is making sure that my staff get free classes, or walk them through the process where they can get the $400 a year towards classes or conferences, and really helping them have their PAUs, whether we're doing activities or I have them do the news, like the blog for the month, and we turn that in as the newsletter, or whatever I can do to help them get that bonus. That is also something that I do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. If there's not anything else, I'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Amy, I wanted to know, where's the link? Remember you was telling us the last time. Where is the link for the partnership?
Link for the partnership.
Remember the $20 a month?
I sent it in an email. So I've got somebody else showing up. It'll be after we finish up here.
Okay, awesome. And the next thing is it'll be recorded too, because I know 7:00, I have Bible study on Wednesday. That's why I go so fast. So it'll be recorded, and I can always go back and listen to it or something like that.
Absolutely. Yep. And since you're not going to be there live, if you want to send me questions ahead of time, then I can just answer them live on the call.
Awesome.
And that makes do that too. But so she's talking about the membership. So it's so I am recording these, and then I have a company workbook that can go with it. So it's $20 for the month. These things are always going to be free. But if you want to come to like the after, so when I'm done with this, I'm going to meet with the people that paid, and we can be talking about anything else that you want to talk about, projects, long-term things, stuff like that. You'll also get the recording of this and a workbook that goes with it. So that's what Mr. Mitra was talking about. And I had sent it out in the email, but if anybody need me to resend it, just shoot me an email. And if that is it, I will see the rest of you guys in 2 weeks. All right. Have a good
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful night.
You too.